Class number 1, how to be sure you're saved. Now, boy, that's the most important thing in the universe, to know for sure that we know the Lord. If you want to open in your Bibles, we're going to read Proverbs 1, and I will be, I know we have all different versions. In fact, I remember the first time I taught here, Bonnie and I were here in 2011. Some of you were just little tiny people 12 years ago. We were here in 2011, and they didn't have all this. The dining hall was over there somewhere, and it was plastic that blew in the wind. It was kind of like an igloo, plastic. And it just was really unusual back then. Everything has gotten nicer the longer we've been here. But the one thing that hasn't changed is we always use the Bible. But one of the students, I think he sat right about here, he had 3 Bibles. He had his Korean Bible, he had his English Bible, and I don't know what the 3rd Bible was, but every time I taught, he was turning between all 3 Bibles, and I'd never seen such, focus. And whenever I didn't say something clearly, he would stop, and he couldn't turn any of the 3. And so it taught me to watch and make sure you understand what I say. But Proverbs chapter 1, now look at this. Verse 7, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. So it's interesting. All of a sudden we start seeing Proverbs divides everybody into 2 groups. The first ones are the ones that fear God. So the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So on the positive side, fear of God, wisdom, knowledge, that's the good side. But fools, so there's 2 groups, foolish, wise, positive and negative. And what we're going to see, the longer we go through Proverbs, this list gets longer and longer. And basically, these are the saved and these are the lost. The book of Proverbs is completely about who's really a Christian. God says a Christian has been changed on the inside. Everything changes. They fear God, they have His wisdom, they have His knowledge, and on and on and on. Keep reading. In chapter 9, so Proverbs chapter 9, and look at verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. See, it's kind of repeating. The fear of the Lord, Proverbs 9:10, is the beginning of wisdom, verse 10, and the knowledge of the Holy One. Now, I'm not sure of your background. How many of you grew up in Christian homes? A little higher. It's early in the morning. There we go. Most of you. Okay. So you guys know basically what I'm talking about. The Bible describes salvation as this. John 17:3, this is life eternal, that they may know you, the only true God. That's what Jesus said. So Jesus said, to be saved means you know God. The book of Proverbs explains what it means to know God, what happens in our life. Okay, I want to keep going on the slides. I could tell you that I already said this, every book of the Bible is about God and His desires for us. So Genesis is God's desire for us to understand where the earth came from, where the universe came from. Did you notice the order there? That's out of order, isn't it? Wouldn't you say where the universe came from and where the earth came from? God says He created the earth first. Did you know that? Have you ever thought about that? Do you know what that means? God says He created the earth, and from the earth, think about this, He stretched out the stars, the universe from the earth. In fact, the book of Isaiah, which we're covering, I can't believe they let me do Isaiah and Proverbs back to back. Do you know what Isaiah says? God rolled out the universe like a tent. Now, have any of you ever gone camping? You have your sleeping bag, and you make it as small as possible because you're backpacking or whatever. And when you finally take it out of the package, what does it do? It unrolls and gets, from that little sleeping bag sack, it unrolls. That's how they used to do their tents. They were traveling, they were nomadic, they would wrap their stuff up, and then they would unroll the tent from wherever they were starting, they'd unroll it this way. That's how God said he made the universe. But where did he roll it from? The earth. That explains why light is 14.7 billion light years away from us. God unrolled the universe outward from here. But I'm not teaching Genesis. It also teaches where sin came from, how God made salvation, why Israel is in the news. God picked Israel as his chosen people of promise. Isaiah says that the world ends because all the nations are trying to fight against Israel. So one thing we know for sure, Israel's going to be around till the end of the world. Jerusalem's going to be around till the end of the world. Jewish people are going to be in Jerusalem till the end of the world. And the Antichrist comes to destroy them at the end of the world. So you're seeing something fantastic. Israel has become the center of attention for the whole world. That's how the world ends. Only it's not quite there yet, because it says everybody hates Israel at the end. And right now, part of Europe doesn't hate them, part of America doesn't hate them. You understand what I mean? It's not universal yet. But that's what Genesis is about. Proverbs is God's desire for us to understand how to live his way.